Yo, I'm Brendan. Today, let's talk about how much money I made in dividends in the month of August. And I've also found something on Robinhood's website that I didn't know was there before, and it's a really cool feature. So I'll show you that at the end of the video. First off, you might notice my account balance is higher than normal. All we've done is contributed some cash into the brokerage account because it's earning 5%. And so it's a good place to stash some cash for now until the Fed changes rates. So even though this account balance looks really high at $51,000, not all of that is invested in dividend stocks right now. $16,051 is actually in cash. Another $1,000 is available in margin from Robinhood, and the rest is actually invested. So not that much more has been invested than last month. It just looks a little bit crazy when you first see this. You might be asking, so then why not invest it? If you've got this cash here, if you believe in the dividend investing strategy you've got, why not put the money to work? And that's a viable question. I think you have a right to ask that and wonder that. And I've thought about doing it. I've almost done it. But the fact that whenever you invest the money versus having it in cash, it makes it a little bit less liquid. So if we need to pull it out for some reason, it's a little bit harder to get. And the kicker is that I'm not making that much more profit having the money invested in dividend paying stocks than I am just having it right now uninvested in this cash sweep account earning 5%. You know, if it was making 2.5% versus the 5, 6, 7% I'm making in dividends, that's a bigger difference. But right now the difference is only like 1%, 1.5%. So I'm not that incentivized to actually invest the money. And in case you're curious how to check your investments whenever you're using Robinhood, especially on a desktop browser, there's a couple of different ways that I can share with you just to make it really easy. Like one way is to go up here on the right side and click on notifications, and it'll show you the most recent ones, and you can click into view all notifications. Then it'll tell you literally everything that's happening with your account. And it's kind of funny because they break it out by ticker symbol. So instead of it being just strictly chronological, like you can see here with Coca-Cola, everything that's happened with Coca-Cola is in one like text message block, if you will. It really looks like you're texting somebody. The informal design that Robinhood's gone for here is kind of interesting, but then if you click into a different ticker symbol, then it shows you everything that's happened with that ticker symbol. So as an example with me here, SPHD, on August 23rd, because I owned this many shares, I got paid this dividend, and then it was reinvested a few days later. The other way you can look and actually target your dividends a little bit better in your Robinhood account is to go up here in the top right corner into account, and then go down to history. And then here it's really cool because they give you this simple little filter system to refine your results. So if I want to look in my individual brokerage account, and if I want to just search by dividends, then I can do that. And not only does this say what's happened in the past, like, hey, these are the dividends you got recently, it also forecasts a little bit in the future and says, hey, these are pending. These are coming up in the next few weeks. And for me, this is by far the fastest way for me to just strictly go through and find what dividends that I've got and then update my dividend investing spreadsheet. I realize in a year and a half of making this video series, sharing my dividend investing with you, I've never shown you how I look at this. So if that's useful to you, then leave me a comment. But now let's get into the actual results from this month. So first, the new investments I made. In August, I put in $104 into JEPI. I got about 5 referrals from you guys signing up for Robinhood. So thanks for that. That's the money that I'm making for making these videos, $25. And that brings up my overall total of money that I've invested in this account, the money that I've put in that hasn't been dividends or capital appreciation, up to $29,883. And then this month, the dividends that I actually received were paltry. This was one of the worst months that I've had all year, and it's been some of the usual suspects that have shown up, but I haven't gotten those big, amazing quarterly dividends. And so all I got for a total of August 2024 was $66.10. Plenty of money for 5 or 6 burritos, not enough money to substantially do anything with a race car. If you're new here, one of my metrics for how much money something is to relate it to the cost of burritos and race cars, because those are two things that I love. So that means my return this month was 0.22%. My yearly return, if I got every month out of 12 months of the year the same as this month, would only be 2.65%. That is depressing because that's like half of what you make in a high yield savings account right now. So then if I take all of those monthly rates turned into yearly rates and average them out for the lifetime that I've had this investing account total, that's 6.38%. And speaking of returns, we can just go back to my investing homepage here on Robinhood and just give you the total return. So the return that we see here on this screen, total return, is both dividends and the growth of the stocks that you've invested in, the capital appreciation, if you will. In the last week, it's gone up by 0.2%. In the last month, we're up 4.5%, which is great. In the last 3 months, up almost 7%, and year to date, almost 11%, 10.69%. If I got that as a yearly return for the rest of all time, that would be great. You know, if we go out to 1 year and we get 13%, if you had 13% every year, you'd be sitting pretty. I don't necessarily expect that every single year, but especially for a dividend portfolio, that's pretty good. It's experienced a lot of growth too. That's not just dividends, obviously. I'd say by the numbers, more of that is actually growth than it is dividends. It's not like I'm making 13% cash back on my investments. And if I could do that with the same level of risk that I'm accepting now, I would opt into it. The problem is to get those kinds of returns, to get 13, 20, 30, 50% dividends, you've got to get into some really sketchy stuff. I made a video all about Yieldmax funds that I'll link here at the end of this video. It's a particular kind of investment from a particular company that people are into right now because the dividends are ridiculous and they're huge. And I think maybe for the last year, it's been a potentially winning strategy, but I don't trust it for the long term. For 10, 20, 30 years, it's just not something that I can put my trust in. And the problem is, how do you know when that switches over from a viable investment to one that you can no longer trust? How much do you have to lose to say this isn't going to turn around? We've got to get out of here. This is actually a bad deal. It's difficult to draw that line. But now for the feature on the Robinhood website that I hadn't really seen before that I wanted to share with you. From your home page, if you're paying for Robinhood Gold, you can click on this little icon here that says Try Gold, or you can get to it also from your account settings. But if you click on Try Gold, it shows you the lifetime benefit that you've gotten from your Robinhood Gold account. And so this is a really cool way that either they can promise you, hey, look, this is worth paying for, you should keep doing this, or you could actually fact check them and go, has this been worth my while? Have I gotten enough benefits from Robinhood Gold for it to be worth it? Because maybe you're paying $5 to $7 per month, depending on where you are in the world and when you signed up for it. So this way you can fact check and see what your benefits have been. For me, for a limited time here, I've gotten 5.5% APY on my uninvested cash. They've gotten like a little deposit boost for 60 days where you get that. So I've gotten almost $200 in benefit from that. That pays for Robinhood Gold for 2 or 3 years. Plus then a 1% deposit boost on top of that. I've got a bunch of money pending there if I leave it alone for long enough. That's that 16 grand I put in recently. If I leave it alone, I'll get another $146 from that 1% deposit boost. And then because I transferred over an old 401k and rolled it into a traditional IRA, they had a promotion going for a 3% IRA match. So I got $6,500 in that. So for me, the benefit of Robinhood Gold has been pretty substantial. But this way you can really easily fact check that. And if you scroll down further, showing you when you started paying for Robinhood Gold, then you can really easily do that math and say, worth it. Yeah, let's keep going. Not worth it. Haven't got enough benefits for me in my life. It's just cool that it's personalized based on you and where you have your cash and how you're investing. So you can really easily see that. I think they could make it a lot more cryptic, but they don't. So I appreciate that about Robinhood. Thank you, channel members, for supporting me. Your support feels like jumping behind the wheel of a race car. What that means for anybody who's not familiar, YouTube has a membership thing where you can pay every month to get essentially better access to my videos. You get early access. Whenever I publish something, you see it before anyone else. You get priority reply in the comments. You get special little symbols next to your name in the comments. And you also get members only videos that no one else sees. So a few times a month, typically, I make special videos that are only for members. It's not something that I'm putting out there to the public because it's either more personal information or behind the scenes stuff that no one else gets to see. So if you want more from me, then check out the membership section here in YouTube. And otherwise, here's that Yieldmax video I promised you. And then also a lot of scams have been going around recently. A lot of identity theft, a lot of really sketchy, unfortunate criminal activities happened. And so I made a full guide about how to protect you and your family members. That's right here. I'm really proud of this video. I worked really hard on it, did a lot of research, and collated a lot of different resources into one spot for you to make it easy for you to spend 20 minutes, one and done, get the information you need. When that reminds me, we need to freeze my wife's credit. I'll do that today after I'm done with you. See you guys later. Bye.